Hello and welcome to Differential Discussions. I'm Melissa,
And I'm Dave.
and today we're looking at another serous fluid. We're looking at another pleural fluid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, pleural fluids are usually interesting. Hopefully this one delivers. Yeah. So, of course, we're starting at our low magnification, and we're taking a look around for any kind of signals, maybe stuff that we might want to focus on. So, like right away, I see a lot of like mononuclear cells, it looks like. And by mononuclear, I mean round balls. They're probably lambs.
Probably. Although this thing here
Ooh,
is a big giant blob of
it is a big giant blob.
ugly. Maybe we should drop down on 40 and just glance at it quickly.
I think that that's probably wise. So one of the things, you know, that we might look for in something like a pleural fluid is, well, exactly what this is, I guess. So, on other videos, we talked about how clumps of like tumor cells can kind of become, it's like a blob, right? So it's tough because you're looking at the two-dimensional kind of like image. But when you see dark color like that, think about them as kind of being like rounded up because this doesn't look good, right? uh,
Yeah.
so normal mesothelial cells should sheet. So they should be kind of like side by side. And we've seen sheets of mesos where they can be like in a pretty significant number. So it's not necessarily that, but I'm concerned about the blobbiness of it. So that's something to look for.
All right, I'm gonna go back to 10 so we can continue.
Probably a good idea.
Bring down the light.
So as a morphologist, we're now like taking note to ourselves that we saw something like that, keeping that in mind. See what else turns up. See a little bit of red cells. Not too bad.
Hmm.
Now, is that a second blob?
Yep.
Blob number 2.
All right, I'm gonna go down to 40 on it again.
Sounds good.
And then raise the light.
Yeah, so I think a little bit better. We can see a little bit more detail here, but still very blobby. Still very,
You
frankly,
can
too very.
you can tell it's three-dimensional.
Yeah. Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
We'll go back to 10 and finish our scan.
That's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
When you go back to one of the blobs and go down, drop.
Yeah, probably. We'll formalize what we think we already know.
Is the light good on that, Dave?
Looks good. Yeah, I like it. Yep. So yeah. Yeah, so I'm looking to see what evidence I can get from this, right? So I think the one thing that we know for sure is that we got this big blob and that's concerning. So then I'm trying to focus on the individual cells, heavy on the air quotes, to see if I see any characteristics that are troubling. And this nucleus kind of sticks out to me a little bit, little lumpy, bumpy on the edges there. I'm seeing it again on this cell here. Very strange. So usually our mesothelial cells, which these in a normal circumstance would be have like smooth contours to their edge, things like that. Looks like, look at this, like those are like some kind of vacuole or like probably a punch through the nucleus. So that's troubling.
Also, this first one that you pointed out, it's irregularly stained.
Yeah. So look at the colors in the cytoplasm, right? It's just and the nucleus itself, right? It's just
And then this guy over here, I think it's this giant blobbiness here. I can't really tell where it begins and ends, but again, we have irregular staining patterns here.
Yeah, so this is a one-way ticket to path for me. I wouldn't.
Yeah.
But what's interesting, right? So if you just went down on oil straight away, you could have easily missed these two blobs that were isolated.
Yeah.
Now this patient might have history beyond this. Maybe this isn't the presentation, and it wouldn't be the diagnostic slide, but still, right? And in the event that it would be, it's very easy to miss.
Yes. Yep. All right, let's move away from it so we can see what else we're dealing with.
Because while it is an important finding, it's hard to do a diff where we were, right? Like that's just not possible. Oh, how pretty. So that looks like a totally cool meso, right? I think. Yeah.
I think so.
And it's a little light.
It's light, and but the really, really round nucleus screams more meso than it does mono.
Especially with that NC ratio, right?
Yeah.
Yep. I tend to agree.
And then these are all lymphs. They're not blasts. That's a macrophage. But the rest here are all lymphs, even though they have pretty prominent nucleoli.
Yep.
Again, it's just the cytocentrifugation process.
Flat. Yeah, a lot of lymphs.
Debating if this is a lymph or a mono.
I could go either way on that one. Yeah. It is. It does look significantly bigger, right? But
yeah, I think it's more mono-y. The chromatin's also a little different.
A little looser. Yeah.
Lots of lymphs. Let me focus that a little bit. All right, let's move over and go back.
Mono or two.
Yep. So we got a mono, a mono, a mono, a couple lymphs. Lymphs.
Yeah, ton of lymphs.
But yeah, I'm not seeing any of those big ugly cells that we saw in the balls of whatever clump of cells.
Yep. Yeah.
All lymphs.
Yeah. I mean, so yeah, we're probably looking at 80-90% lymphs, 5-10% monos, right? And then the occasional meso and no tumor cells thus far.
No.
As individuals.
This I was kind of debating to see if it was a cell, but it just looks like stain.
Yeah, it's just junk. Yep. Yeah, like at a glance, you might be like, Bezo?
Yes. But then you're like, wait, there's no cytoplasm.
Right. Right. Beautiful lymphs.
Yes. With prominent nucleoli. Ooh.
Oh, cool. Okay. So I think for me, so I think when talking about cells like this is tough because I think because I've seen the clumps, then I don't like this one in general. I think if it was the first cell I saw, I'd be reluctant to like be too scared of it, I guess. But
it could be a a strange meso.
Yeah,
If this was the only cell you saw,
yeah,
you could consider it. And I think the thing that's giving us a lot of pause is the NC ratio,
yeah, yep.
especially because the nucleus is huge.
It's too big. Yep, exactly. So, and this happens sometimes where maybe the nucleus is a bit big on a meso, but this is crossed like a line, kind of. And especially since I saw those. So, this is what I'll say. If this was the only cell I saw, I would be like really looking hard for something else. Those blobs, perhaps. If I see the blobs first, I think I'd count this as the tumor other category for path. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, especially considering that other little meso that we saw.
Yes. Yeah. Nice, beautiful, normal NC ratio, round. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
I
This
mean,
just technically this is way too big.
this cell, it's really the size of the nucleus because the staining pattern looks appropriate. Like it doesn't look too, like you don't have those deep dark areas. The stain
Mhm.
looks okay in both the cytoplasm and the nucleus. So it's kind of really, it really is mostly the NC ratio here.
Yep. I agree. Yeah. Yeah. And I think we're kind of seeing it a little bit again. This one has, I don't like this darker staining area in the middle.
Yep,
That's not good.
agreed. And then this one just looks like a macrophage.
Yeah, I agree. Yep. Yeah, and then a lot of lymphs just smushed in between and around.
Lots of lymph nodes.
Yeah, this is why body fluids is so hard, right? Because the differential seems somewhat unremarkable on its face when you're, counting the number of lymphs. Okay, that's a little bit weird. But
Yeah,
it happens, I guess,
I think it's just a lymph, a weird
Yeah,
one.
yeah. It's definitely a lymph.
And then here,
Definitely shouldn't have two nuclei. So yeah, thoughts on this one? I'm a little bit agnostic. I'm kind of like,
yeah. I think the NC ratio is a little bit large again here. So given
same.
that what we saw on the other one, I think I'd still go with questioning if this is more of the whatever the ball of cells is, if this is the same thing and less of a meso.
Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, I agree.
And hey, Path might come back and be like, no, that's just a meso.
Path comes back and says stuff we don't expect all the time. So, well,
Yeah,
not
who
all,
knows?
but from time to time,
But who knows? It might be. It could be just strange looking mesos.
it's possible. Yeah.
Not the balls of things though. That's definitely
I
something.
know that's not good. That can't be good. In truth, I don't know that I've ever seen a situation where they had like clumps of cells like that and it was like
Mm.
totally fine. Oh, cool.
Yes.
So we got like a pretty reactive looking, and a scary looking nucleoli there, huh?
But that's why I stopped because of the nucleoli.
Yeah, that's very large.
Yeah,
Very,
but the the chromatin pattern is still too mature to be like a blast or something
yeah.
quite immature like that.
Hmm. And then we see that pretty blue, and then the differential staining, um, and especially given the context and everything else on the slide, just looks like it's reacting to
Hmm.
something. Um, to which your body can have an immune reaction to malignant cells, right? So that's not necessarily a crazy thing to see.
Yep.
And
Can we
there
go
was
back?
looks like there was one. It looked like there was one like I don't know how you feel about that one. That one looks kind of meso-y, right? NC ratio is not great, but I feel like it lost cytoplasm.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
agree. Because it looks kind of raggedy.
yeah, 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 yeah. So like I might just meso that one,
Yeah.
but Beautiful monocyte.
Mhm. Well, I don't think there's too much else in here. I think it really is and those big balls of cells. I think that is probably the major finding on here.
Mhm.
And then trying to compare those single cells that are not quite right looking to are they mesothelial cells?
Mhm. Yep, and that's a tough call. Um, the when you're in a medical laboratory though, use the benefit of the experience that's around you.
Yeah,
Always, I mean, even Melissa and I are very experienced. It's always good to get the second set of eyes to like look at something, especially these borderline things. So try to think of differentials as a bit collaborative. Uh,
definitely.
but yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately for students, it's you must know these. But once you're out working in the field, it really is a hey, can you look at this? I'm
Yeah.
not sure. I
Yeah.
mean, unless it's like a competency or, one of those
Sure.
fun things. But
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah.
when you're dealing with like the actual patient specimens, absolutely collaborative. And no one expects a new person or even a new person to body fluid diffs to be perfectly proficient. We expect lots of, hey, can you check this cell? So ask away. I mean, even I always hated when I was working per diem on the weekends and I was working with two people who were less experienced with me as me or two other per diems who, wasn't as familiar with the patients or the policies because then I had to be the one who knew and who could look at cells by myself and I couldn't say, "Hey, can you look at this?" I
Mm.
always hated that. So making sure if you have those people available to you, ask.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Cool.
All right. Well, I think that's all we have for this video. So thanks for watching.
Yeah, thank you for your time.